So let's talk about tightening, neutral, easing. What's the story, mate? What's not floating around at the moment, sort of tending to me to indicate, in terms of data and releases, seems to indicate to me, stay where we are, stay the same. Not put them up, don't put them down, just not say too much, just wait and see how it all rolls out. But is there anything out there that we should be looking at?
The big news in the last month since our last recording were wages data and the labour market data. Yeah, we had a few other bits and bobs too, but they were the big issues. Wages data, the wage price index, came in at 3.6% annual, down from 3.7. It actually, it's only 0.1 difference, but the market and the RBA were looking for it to go towards 4%. So that was critically important because the RBA feared, and you mentioned it before, were, maybe still are, worried that the low unemployment rate would feed into higher wages, would feed into higher inflation. That is not underlined, not happening. The wages data were actually, while they weren't weak, they did dispel that theory.
Wages are not rising.
Yes, they're steady at an okay level that's acceptable. There is an acceptable level. If everyone got a 20% wage rise, the economy is stuffed. If everyone gets 0, it's not good either. 3.5-ish, 4% is about right, and it's consistent, most importantly, with the 2 to 3 inflation target. So wages, a little softer than expected. So don't hike rates again. The other thing that happened, which reinforces on hold, is the unemployment numbers which came out a couple of weeks ago. First of all, you had a minus 14,000 in employment. 14,000 people lost their jobs last month. The unemployment rate went from 3.5% to 3.7%. So, the monthly numbers are all volatile. Yep, they just do a survey of the population.
But still, they're the monthly numbers.
But they went up.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, unemployment went up.
Yeah.
Employment went down. So if the board meeting's sitting there and they go, unemployment's up, wages, a bit weaker than we thought. Then you add in things like retail sales. You look at the global economy. The US is probably doing better than we thought. China's probably doing worse than we thought. So the global economy is still, soft. Probably not a recession, but certainly a long way from a boom. So everything's pointing to on hold. Yep.
Yeah, so it's interesting. I mean, we saw the government have given themselves not the public servants, or maybe it is public servants, but definitely the politicians giving themselves a 4% wage rise.
Public servants too, by the way.
Public servants as well.
Yep.
So that the public service account for probably maybe 15% of the total and total employed in Australia.
About that,
yeah,
yes. For what do we call it, the departmental public service. If you add police, nurses, teachers, there's another 5 or 6% of the workforce.
So it's close to 20%.
All up. Yeah.
That's state and fed. So
Correct,
the feds who just gave themselves a 4%
Correct.
rise, but you would expect that to somehow seep into the state at a state level. But
yep.
It's not a bad benchmark, but that's a little bit above. For me, that's a little bit uncomfortable.
A smidge above. My caveat would be, to cut them some slack, they got really weak wage increases due to the pandemic. If I remember correctly, some of them only got 1.5. So if you actually look at, say, a 3-year moving average, it's probably with a 4, it's probably around about 3 and a bit percent.
But still, it is 4%.
So it's a bit of a catch up. But it's 4% today, though.
Yeah,
that's the things that matter.
So the question becomes,
yep.
Is that enough to be inflationary, do you think?
You don't want any more than that. Right. That's your... And in all seriousness, that's the upper bound on wage. Look, if we got 4.1, that's fine. But as soon as you get to, say, 4.25, 4.5%, you then start ringing the alarm bell. That is the sort of wage increase that if it's sustained, if it's just a one-off and it comes back down, fine. If it's 4.5, well, you've got an inflation problem. That's what the RBA is worried about. So that's what I was talking about a minute ago. The official wages number for the June quarter, 3.6%, spot on. The 4% wage increase for, public servants and some other awards, or even the minimum wage case, that was 5.75%. Now, not many people get the minimum wage, but for those who do, that was 5.75%. That's just bumped up. So wages, look, I'm not worried about wages because the economy's slowing down and immigration's high and a lot of those immigrants work. They take a job. But it is still something that's just on the side of your radar.